granted, Boots wanted to become undisputed at 147, right? Mm-hmm. But when Devin tried to fight him at 147, he said, no, I'm moving up to 154. Mm. You know what I mean? Like, so...
He's a dangerous fight for anybody.
He's a dangerous fight for anybody.
In the ring on the night. I know it's not his fault.
Yeah, I know that's not ideal how he wanted to win it. You know, I know he's disappointed that he couldn't win it from a champion and whatnot. And it's disappointing for him, but if I was him, I'd just tell him, like, I want to fight for it. Like, I'd rather fight the number 3 guy. You know, if I couldn't get the other guy, you know, don't send me a belt in the mail. But it just seemed like, you know, everybody cool with being female champions now. And
tension between Terence Crawford and Jaron Boots Ennis has hit a new peak as Crawford unloaded on the rising star, labeling him overrated and throwing out accusations that Ennis has been carefully stepping around genuine competition.
Yeah, man. Devin get a lot of hate. For no reason. I don't know. I don't understand why so many people hate Devin and Shakur. Like, they get the most hate out of all boxers. If you look at the comments when they talking about Devin, when they talk about Shakur, they get the most hate out of everybody. And they willing to fight everybody. Devin fighting everybody.
Yeah. Everyone.
Devin like, give me Lomachenko, give me him, give me him, give me him. Oh, I wanna fight him. You say he the best, I wanna fight him. Yes. You know, Boots, I wanna fight Boots too.
Boots fired straight back without any hesitation, calling those claims completely untrue and making it clear that his door has always been open to anyone willing to walk through it. From the perspective of his critics, however, those accusations never told the whole story of what was actually happening at the negotiating table.
It don't make no sense, but I want to go do that. Anybody in their right mind, I'm going for the unification. I'm not about to go to 154 and fight for an interim. I ain't duck nobody, and everybody knew that. Right. Anybody can get it any day. Like, so yeah, like, people be crazy. People know I don't talk.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I'm talking now, but like, I really don't care, like, the talk and all that on the internet and all that. I know I got people be trying, like, you got to sell the fight, you got to do this, you got to making it. Bro, something might be wrong with me because I can't really talk too much.
Even Haney offered a very different version of how his own negotiations with Boots played out. Haney says he was always open to the fight, but made it very clear from the beginning that the only deal he was willing to accept was at 147 pounds. He was not prepared to move above that limit before even proving himself in the division first.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you know, Boots is a good fighter, but who is he?
Would you have Boots if that presented
himself? No, they asked us. They said, are you guys open to doing a Boots fight? I said 100%. At 147, Boots' team came back with, they wanted to do it at 152. I wanted to do 152. I never even fought at 147 yet. I said, no, if you come down to 147, we can do the fight. I'm not gonna go to 152 for fucking Boots. Yeah. At the end of the day, you know, Boots is a good fighter, but who is he?
The spotlight then shifted to a specific negotiation that never came together, the potential showdown between Boots and Devin Haney. Ennis says he agreed to the proposed catchweight arrangement only for all communication to suddenly go completely dark, setting off months of very public back and forth about which side was actually serious about making the fight happen.
I wanted to do 152. I never even fought at 147 yet. I said, no, if you come down to 147, we can do the fight.
After I had decided to move up, you know, after everything was going on, I decided to move up and, you know, move to 54. We get a call back a couple days later. He like, me and my team, they like, yo, would you fight Devin at 152? I said, yeah. I'm like, I ain't fighting 54 yet. I can make 52. Like, I'm like, yeah, why not? I'm like, yeah, we never heard nothing back after that. And that's another thing. People be painting these false narratives and saying that I ducked this person. How I ducked him? Right. I said, yeah. But y'all don't know that because y'all don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
Standing completely unmoved by everything being thrown at him, Boots said plainly that whatever Crawford thinks changes absolutely nothing because he still sees himself as the best fighter operating at this weight. In his view, the only place that debate gets properly settled is inside a boxing ring.
Cheeks to you were like, I don't know, maybe like hate a little bit. I know online he recently said that Fondora's the best guy at 154. He said Fondora would beat you. What do you like your thoughts on that?
I don't pay that no mind though. None of that stuff be bothering me, but like I said, I'm the best at 154. Everybody know it, and I'm gonna keep standing each every time out. You know.
Even after brushing aside Crawford's criticism, Boots kept finding his name attached to one boxing rumor after another. He suggested that other fighters deliberately push false stories about him because they assume he will simply stay quiet and let it go. Now that he has started speaking up, he says anyone who tries to throw accusations his way in the future will face a much harder time making them stick.
That, and I think people be using, like I think people be using my name because they know what they think I'm not gonna say that. But now I feel like they're gonna watch themselves. So.
Yeah. Now you're gonna start saying what you feel.
Bro,
Anybody you want to air out?
I see them. I see them.
See, you still quiet.
Yeah, I'm quiet because I don't really be trying to talk to them. That's really ain't me, but like, they creep.
Greg Hackett stepped in to back Boots up on that point, arguing that Ennis has simply gone after titles in the exact same way every successful champion before him has done. That argument directly challenges the whole ducking narrative that has been built around him. Hackett made the point that pursuing the biggest available prize has always been the standard approach for fighters at the elite level, and that it is not something unique to Boots that deserves special criticism.
So, if every time Dev go up in weight, he be chasing the belts, right? He be chasing the belts. Yep. So Dev coming up, and Boots got the belts, but Boots trying to do the same thing. He trying to get the belts. What do Boots win from fighting Dev? Besides a win.
The name.
At that time. Yeah, but the name is a smaller guy coming up. You're already saying I'm...
Hackett went further with that same line of thinking, arguing that going after bigger names, bigger belts, and better financial opportunities has always been the smarter and more logical career move. His reasoning made the case that critics who dismiss this approach simply do not understand how boxing careers are actually constructed at the highest level. He added that fighters who take calculated risks in the name of building a real legacy almost never receive the credit they deserve for the strategy behind those decisions.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go where the big guys at, and I'm gonna win there. So then I go, I fight Xander, and I fight for 2 belts instead of 1. What's wrong with that? Dev did the same shit, didn't he? At 140. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna go where the opportunity, the money, the legacy, all of that shit matters at once. You know what I'm saying? They doing the same thing Bill and them be doing. Same thing. We gonna go where the smoke is at, but the smoke come with a trinket, it come with a check, it come with some notoriety, it comes with, you know what I'm saying? It gives me something to be proud about. You feel me?
Virgil Ortiz made it very clear that he had already gone after both Jaron Ennis and Sebastian Fondora, along with every other available champion. His comments reinforced the idea that the biggest roadblocks were never inside the ring, but sitting at the negotiating table. Ortiz added that fans rarely get to see how much of the delay in making fights comes down to contracts and purse splits, rather than any fighter genuinely trying to avoid another.
And I just want the best fights, no matter who it is. Jaron Ennis, Fondora, anyone with the belt. You know, there's really not anyone in the top 10 that I haven't fought or that I haven't tried to fight. You know, at this point, you know, people just need to take the fights, you know, and a lot of people want to say, how come you haven't tried this route, you know, just because I'm not calling people out on social media like everyone else does, doesn't mean I'm telling my manager, hey, let's make this fight. That doesn't mean I'm not talking to the WBC like, hey, how come we haven't made this fight happen yet? You know what I mean? Like, we've done our part, you know. I'm not a very vocal guy. Well, I'm starting to be because I feel like I have to be. And I don't know. It's a bit of a change of character. I'm just.
Ortiz doubled down on that frustration, arguing that fans found a way to twist every single outcome against the fighters involved regardless of what actually happened. That level of frustration showed just how difficult it had become to separate what was real from what the public perception had turned it into. Ortiz pointed out that even when a fighter publicly and loudly demands a specific matchup, critics still manage to find a way to frame it as avoidance.
One, the fight doesn't happen with Jaron Ennis. Oh, I'm ducking the fight. You know, Virgil Ortiz doesn't want to fight Jaron Ennis. Now we're calling him out. Oh, he's begging for the fight. You like what kind of logic is that? You know, I just respectfully, that is just stuff that I deal with and other boxers deal with on a day-to-day basis. That doesn't make any kind of sense. I just don't understand how the gears are working up there. You know, like they're turning the wrong way. I don't get it. But anyways, I could keep on talking about this.
When it came to his own personal confidence about the matchup, Ortiz remained completely firm that nothing altered his belief that his style was built to beat Ennis. That confidence came from things he had been watching and studying that he felt others had overlooked. He added that the specific weapons he would bring into that fight are not the kind of things that casual analysts tend to pick up on just by watching from the outside.
I do. I definitely do. But I mean, I got him. I got him.
Based on what you saw in that fight, and you've seen prior, of course, too, but like what you saw in that fight, that showed you something?
It proved something. It didn't really show me something. It just I always knew it, but just seeing it, I got him.
Robert Garcia believed that walking away from the bigger fight revealed far more than any public explanation ever could have. For Boots, this was not simply another title defense being lined up. It raised a genuine question about whether he truly wanted to face the most dangerous test available in the division. Garcia pointed out that fighters almost never tell you their real motivations directly, which is exactly why decisions about who to fight and who to avoid tend to speak much louder than anything said at a press conference.
Virgil himself, we want to fight Boots. We want that fight to happen. Hearing from Eddie that Boots might want to unify against
Josh Kelly.
Yeah. Well, if you do that, that's taking advantage of a fighter that's injured, that's hurt. You see that cut?
Yeah.
That cut is like an inch deep.
Yeah.
That cut is big. If you bring somebody like that to a November fight, you're taking advantage of that. You're taking advantage of that. And the fighter will probably do it because he's a fighter, he's a warrior, and he'll probably get the biggest payday in his career, and he could lose to anybody else because, let's be real, Kelly might not be the best in the division. So they're going after him to take advantage of that opportunity to get another belt under his belt, which would be 3, which is great. But when you have somebody like Virgil who's asking for it, so November's a perfect date. He had a great
come
fight
back against Boots or to get a tune-up and then Boots?
No, we don't need a tune-up. Right. We want to go straight into Boots.
As the debate continued over why Boots moved in other directions instead of toward Ortiz, Garcia grew more convinced that the champion fully understands how difficult Virgil would be to deal with. He argued that choosing different opponents rather than stepping to Virgil says more than any explanation Boots could ever offer, adding that avoiding a specific style rather than competition itself is usually what reveals the real thinking behind a fighter's choices.
Look, I know, I don't think, man. I know, it's man.
You got history against Bozy in the corner. Look, you did well in January.
That's why Bozy will even say, no, that's not our next fight. We're going to go unify because they think that's more important. No, it's not. They know Virgil will beat him. Or else they would take it.
Crawford put forward the argument that Virgil Ortiz would actually represent a harder challenge for Boots than Sebastian Fondora, because of the relentless pressure Ortiz applies and the discipline he keeps behind his aggression. He suggested that it would be style rather than size that causes Boots the most serious problems, making the case that pressure fighters who remain disciplined and composed in their attacking have historically given elite technical boxers considerably more trouble than simple physical mismatches ever could.
But for me, I say Virgil.
Really?
I say Virgil.
Wow, even though Fondora's 6'6" and has a long
distance.
Because
Fondora leave the door open to get caught.
Right.
But Fondora, he's getting better.
Yeah.
He's definitely getting better. But Virgil, he gonna be in your face. He gonna have his hands up. He gonna be jabbing you, with a stiff jab and going to your body. And with Fondora, he want to get inside.
Yeah.
He tall, but he don't want to. He don't
like
want to.
The bag too.
He don't want to fight you on the outside.
Right.
He gonna
be in there.
He gonna bing, 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 and then when you get in inside, it's boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean?
Paulie Malignaggi put Sebastian Fondora forward as one of the most genuinely dangerous opponents available to Jaron Boots Ennis because of his freakish height, the confusion his awkward southpaw stance creates, his willingness to apply non-stop pressure, and the real punching power he carries. In his view, the fight is so evenly and dangerously balanced that even experienced analysts find it genuinely difficult to pick a clear winner because both fighters bring qualities that could completely change the fight at any given moment.
And Fondora, of course, is a very difficult guy to deal with. Listen, Fondora is going to be difficult to deal with for anybody. And so Ennis and Fondora, I really, really would get excited for Ennis and Fondora. That's a really good fight. And for me, that's not an easy fight for either of them. That's a tough fight to call, man. I don't know. I would love to know what some of the comments think at home. And don't be biased about just because one guy you like one guy over the other. I'm talking about seriously, from a boxing perspective. Ennis and Fondora. Listen, Fondora's an awkward fight for anybody because of his height and the power that he's got at that weight. But really, to break it down, it would be interesting and It's a really weird, strange fight to try to
That potential clash opened up yet another fascinating debate, with Breadman Edwards arguing that a fight between Jaron Boots Ennis and Sebastian Fondora would erupt into action almost from the very first second, because both champions are prepared to stand and fight and are willing to force their preferred style on whoever is in front of them. In his opinion, neither man is built to retreat from danger, which makes an explosive and violent encounter feel almost guaranteed the moment the opening bell rings.
If Boots is getting a little lazy, getting a little carefree, and playing around a little bit, I think that Boots and Fondora is an absolute Hagler-Hearns type of shootout. I think Boots is mean as a rattlesnake. He's gonna have to step to Fondora. I don't know if his jab, especially to the head, will be that effective against a guy that's 6'6". So you have to jab him to his body a lot and kind of step to him. And I think he's with that. That's the kind of fighter he is. I think that will be an early round shootout. I think that would be the kind of fight that will end.
Eddie Hearn turned his attention toward what Boots would bring into a fight with Fondora, and argued that Ennis possesses a rare combination of high-level boxing intelligence and natural attacking instincts that very few fighters in the sport currently carry together. He believes that specific combination, along with Boots' ability to make adjustments while the fight is happening, gives him the tools to solve Fondora's unusual style in ways that have genuinely troubled many other top opponents throughout Fondora's career.
Boots is capable of doing, like, Boots is the first fighter with this kind of IQ that can also fight, right? And that's what I think you guys...
Can you elaborate on that?
So what I mean by that is, there are so many fighters with the IQ of Boots or similar IQ that styles do not entertain or overly entertaining. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, when you talk about IQ in the sport, tell me the top 5 guys who've got that kind of IQ. Shakur, Devin Haney, Tank maybe, but Tank's exciting, but whether he fights again's another story, right? So those kind of guys.
But I mean,
but what do you get what I'm saying?
I do.
But Boots will sit in the pocket, he will fight you, he will attack you, he can box off the back foot, but he actually likes to come on.
Hearn continued breaking down why Sebastian Fondora represents such a uniquely difficult problem for anyone at 154 pounds. The extreme height, the long reach, the awkward southpaw stance all combine to create a puzzle that simply does not exist anywhere else in the division. In Hearn's view, the only type of fighter capable of consistently breaking Fondora down over the full course of a fight is one who brings elite ring intelligence, genuine patience, and the capacity to make constant in-fight adjustments. Qualities he firmly believes Jaron Boots Ennis possesses.
154-pounder, but you've got to be good enough to adapt to everything. Like, and that's the problem. A lot of these guys, no disrespect to Keith Thurman, but he's been done for a while. Yeah. But Tim Tszyu, these kind of guys, they're all great fighters, but they just can't adapt to styles. Josh has got an unbelievable IQ. Boots has probably got the best IQ in the game, I think. They can adapt in those kind of fights, and that's what you need to do, because Fondora is a massive problem.
Yeah.
Because how do you...
Hearn also gave Fondora serious respect for stepping up and accepting one of the most dangerous fights available, rather than taking the safe road. At the same time, he made his position clear that Ennis carries the superior skill level, ring intelligence, and overall boxing ability to eventually wear Fondora down and have his hand raised when the fight is over.
A little bit baffled. And that's why I respect him so much, because we as fight fans should respect him so much. Puerto Rico should respect him so much. Because we all moan, don't we? Oh, you know, and everyone's like, how are you going to get Boots a big fight? How are you going to get Boots a big fight? And I'm sitting there after the Ortiz stuff going, who? And this kid steps up, and that's why I respect him so much. And he's a serious threat, but he ain't gonna be good enough.
Jorge Linares offered a fighter's perspective on the matchup and argued that the champion carries the punching power, footwork, and boxing intelligence to create genuine and serious problems for any opponent he faces. He added that very few fighters at this level combine such a complete and well-rounded skill set, which makes the champion dangerous at any distance and extremely difficult to fully prepare for in a short training camp. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And do not forget to share your thoughts in the comment section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next one.